Hi all, I thought I'd do a video showing you how I make cookies, so some of you can have a go at making them yourself. Are the ingredients, although it's after I've made them because I messed up that video, so let's just do it again. We've got one medium egg, we have got milk chocolate chips, flat butter. We will need 125 grams. Sugar is 110 grams of caster sugar and 115 grams of dark brown sugar, and then self-raising flour, which will be 220 grams. Also out of picture is a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I'll put in a bowl with the egg, and also half a teaspoon of salt, which helps it all work quite well. At this point I would preheat the oven, so I'm going to put it on 180 on a fan oven. A bit difficult to do by looking through the camera. There we go. Right, so now we're going to start adding ingredients to my fancy pants mixer. So first butter. Then we got sugar, and then we're going to mix it together. I use a dough hook because I don't want to whip it up, I just want to stir it. So the only problem with said dough hook is that I have to poke stuff. Right, so that's fairly well mixed together. So now I'm going to add the egg and vanilla. I'll have to put this down to scrape the last bit of vanilla in. Yes, and the vanilla I use is in sugar syrup, not in alcohol, by the way, in case any of you were wondering. Right, so let's start the mixer again. Oops, not that way. Slower. Bit hard to scrape while you're holding the camera. Anyway, so that's that stage. Right, there we go. It looks fairly well mixed. So on to the next stage. Again, the next stage is a bit difficult with one hand, but we'll attempt it. So add in the flour. Okay, I'm going to have to sieve this in. One key ingredient I missed out saying is this recipe could do with a third to a half teaspoon of salt. I'll add that in a second as well. Right, so next we're going to stir in the flour. Slowly, if I get it the right direction. So next I'm going to put the chocolate chips in. I almost forgot, so it was almost non-chocolate chocolate chip cookies. It helps if you have two hoovers in the room with you at all times. Well, one's just gone. So chocolate chip cookies. So we need chocolate chips. That can go back on. go, so all mixed up. I avoided the dogs getting any chocolate chips, so that was good. Yeah, if you don't have a mixer, you can all do all this by hand. I'm just lazy. Right, so next up we'll be shaping them and sticking them on baking trays. Yeah, so to make them, the cookies, I make them into balls, which are about that big. I like cookies to be fairly small. It's quite difficult to get them small if you're not used to. You tend to make them too big. Normally I'm making this recipe for a lot more. I tend to times this recipe by 4 when I'm making it, but now I'm at home and not with people to give them to, it's a bit smaller, so we'll see if this works. Right, so I've rolled them out, I've put them on baking paper, because they're non-stick, and it means I can, well, when I'm making big batches, I can just take the paper off the baking tray and put another lot in, so it's usually quite useful. So I roll them into little balls and then I flatten them slightly. Doesn't look like many, and they look very well spaced out, but they're going to spread. I'm never quite sure how much they're going to spread, so we'll see in a minute. Next, I'm going to put them in the oven. The oven, I said before, is on 180 degrees. Unfortunately, there's something in there already, so just let me move that. In we go. And in they go. So we leave that for, well, it's 7 to 10 minutes depending on how soft you want them. So I'm going to try 7, maybe 8. Oh yeah, I forgot to show off my gadget skills. Alexa, time 7 minutes.
7 minutes, starting now.
Alexa, stop. Bit steamed up. There we go. So as you can see, they're pretty well done. You see they're a bit brown and they've spread out. Right, here we go. This is why you stick it on parchment paper, because you can do that, and then I can stick the next batch back on the baking tray. And when you're doing like 8 batches, which is what I'm normally doing, that tends to help save a lot of time. Right, so once they've cooled a little bit, they crack up and look like proper cookies. I usually take them off the paper, which is easy because they don't stick, and put them on racks. As you can see, I already did the first batch. I did try and film that, but I messed up the filming. So this is the second lot. There was 18 in the first lot and 17 in the second, although if you count them now, they're not all there because I've already eaten a few. So this has made up 35 cookies, quite small ones, but I tend to think that most people make them too big when they're making their own cookies. If you want lots, just eat lots. Right, there we go everyone, that was my how to make cookies video. For me it's cringy in the extreme, but there we go. There is the final result. I can't do it with this camera very easily, but there we go. Let me know if anyone makes them and how it goes. Unless it goes badly, maybe don't let me know then. Yeah, see you again.